Hope that's working now, is it? Anyway, we're going to start again. Don't know what happened there. So, businessmen who I coach, lawyers, solicitors, doctors, bookmakers, etc. Very, very successful men, a lot of money, a lot of success, own their own businesses. They can't seem to cross it over to their own working lives, their own business lives, their own personal lives. And there's this disconnect in their minds and their heads. Now, I end up having a lot of arguments or a lot of disagreements with my members or guys I coach because I call them out in their bullshit and they're not used to being called out in their bullshit. When you own your own business, you're the boss. That sort of identity carries across you to everything in your life. You know, you don't like to be spoke to by other people. You don't like to take advice. You like to think that you can do things on your own because you've spent the last 20, 30 years doing things your way, and you've got the proof that your way works because you've got a successful business. But unfortunately, when they look in the mirror, they're unhappy. They're overweight. Their bodies just are not running congruent with the goals they want. And in my opinion, this is a major impact. This has a major impact on their business as well. Their business could be a lot more successful if they were more successful in looking after their own bodies. And I attribute this quite simply to stress. Everything is about balance, give and take. If you put too much focus on something, then something else has to take a step back. We've only got a finite amount of time. We've only got a finite amount of energy and willpower. So if I'm using all my willpower and all my strengths to try to build my business, I pretty much can guarantee there's going to be other factors in my life that are going to be affected, whether it be my relationships with my wife or kids or friends, whether it be my social life, whether it be my own health. And for a lot of men, it becomes their health. Now, the trappings of success, usually in the business world, a company, you're going to have meals out, you're going to have, meetings, you're going to have lots of drinks and shit like that. You're going to have to meet up with people and talk about deals and meet clients. And this inevitably leads to you having more food than you should really have, more drink than you should have, and becoming softer, enjoying this comfortable lifestyle, getting used to no hardships as opposed to embracing the hardship. And this inevitably leads them to putting on weight and feeling unhappy themselves. But one of the big problems is they will not admit that to themselves. It's very hard for someone who's successful in business life and someone who's from the outside is seen as a success to actually admit their own feelings. It's easy for us to tell people when it is. That's why I appreciate having friends like Andy McKenzie who call me out my bullshit all the fucking time. Because without that, I could get carried away with my own thoughts, I get carried away with my own story, and then I could go down a path that ends up in disaster. If you have someone who's going to hold you accountable, someone who's going to call you out in your shit when you're going the wrong direction, it gives you that chance to rein it back in and sort your head out. And that's what I do with my members. And to be honest, I've lost a few members because the uncomfortable conversations were too uncomfortable for them to handle. And like I said, it goes back to being stressed. When you're stressed, when you're focusing so much and you're doing late nights and you're working hard and you're pushing yourself to the limits to get a deal done or to reach a deadline, obviously things are going to be impacted. Now, what will usually be impacted is your family life. So you'll see the wife less, you'll see the kids less. The wife's going to be on top of you because she wants you home because she needs help in the house. She's looking after the kids by herself and she feels it's unfair. In your head, you're going, but I'm trying to do this for us. And there's this disconnect between the two parties. The wife wants you there, you want to be there, but you've got to make the money, and you're telling yourself a story justifying why you're staying late, why you're not spending time with the kids, why you have to go out the weekends, and all these bullshit excuses. The reality is, I know, we all know that you could probably manage your time better, but we don't want to give up the golf. We don't want to give up the football. We don't want to give up that meeting. We're going to meet with our friends, even though it's a business meeting. We're going to meet our friends and chill out and have a bit of crack. We don't want to miss out our beers. And this causes conflict. The conflict results in more stress. The more stress results in you feeling like shit, fighting with your partner, and then spending more time in the business. And this cycle continues. Now, I'm giving you examples from the stories that I've been told and the conversations I've had with members and ex-members. So I know this to be true, what I'm saying. And my own experience, my ex-partner and I, we broke up because we didn't have a relationship anymore because I was focused so much on my business that we ended up splitting up. And this is a common theme. And then you put on weight, you feel like shit, and this whole spiral continues. And the reality is, you're training because you're not happy with your body. And you can't turn around and think to yourself, okay, I'm going to the gym, let's say 3 times a week, and I'm walking twice a week. You can't think that doing that is going to equate to you losing body fat and you feeling better about yourself. If you're not focusing on the other aspects of your life that are accumulating stress, remember, training itself is a stress. Training is good for your body to a certain limit, to a certain level, and then it gets detrimental. If you're working 16-hour days and you're drinking and you're eating shitty food, you're not filling your body with the nutrients it needs, the hormonal response isn't going to be right. You're going to feel like crap. And then on top of all that, you're telling yourself, I need to go to the gym. So you go to the gym and you're busting your balls maybe 3 times a week, say. Most guys are probably doing HIIT and all this type of stuff, which is not great for the body, especially if you're stressed already. You're piling more stress on the body, and eventually something's got to go. And that is usually your willpower. And then the willpower ends up dying. You end up going on a binge. You end up eating shitty food. You end up quitting the gym. You end up feeling like shit. You end up blaming everyone else, fighting with the employees, fighting with the wife, fighting with maybe your business partner, and blaming all this crap on external factors, when the reality is, for 99.9% of the guys that I talk to, it's an internal issue. It's you're not happy with yourself. You're not in control of everything. And this is a problem for business owners. We like to think we're in control. We like to believe as the business owner, we've got shit under control. If you're overweight, if you're unhappy, if you've been trying to lose weight and you're trying to get yourself in shape and you can't, you're out of control. You're not in control. You've got an issue and you need to address that. And that conversation can be painful to have. It can be eye-opening, but it can also knock you back a bit, step you back a bit, especially when you come to the realization that actually the life you're living isn't running congruent with the goals you want. When you hit your 40s, you know that, like, I'm 43, coming 44 this year. I'm like 1.5 years away from middle age. It scares the fuck out of me to say that, but it's a reality. I'll be a middle-aged man in like 18 months, less than 18 months. With middle age comes other pressures, other stresses on your body. You know, we've got to start looking at our health. And a lot of the guys I train now are currently middle-aged. And although we are middle-aged or we're coming to middle age, we still believe we can act like someone in our 20s when it comes to treating our body badly. Because strokes, cancers, diabetes, heart disease, and all that other crap, cirrhotic livers, that's another 10, 20, 30 years down the line as far as we're concerned. It's easy to tell ourselves, I'll get sorted out next month. I'll only do this plan now. I'll do this plan next month, or I'll do my fitness training in another month. I've got to get this deadline done today. And there's always going to be another deadline. There's always going to be another something that's going to prevent you from starting today. And it doesn't have to be hard. There just needs to be some sort of consistency and some sort of direct action taken to get you to point B. I think too many guys, especially businessmen, we're used to getting what we want when we want it and being driven towards getting it and finding a solution to the problem. And it's easy to find a solution to the problem when you've got a team around you of colleagues and employees who are going to do the work for you. But your own fitness, your own body, it exposes your own internal thoughts, because the minute you are the only person that can change it, you're going to find out who you really are. And this is the problem for most guys. Most businessmen are not willing to do the work themselves. They've done the hard work. It's like MMA. When I was doing MMA, you were training constantly. It was like over and over and over again. See, when I quit MMA, I didn't want to fucking lift a weight for years. I didn't want to do anything. I'm still in that zone sort of where, like, I've pushed my body so far and so hard and so often that you almost like fear hard work. That's not the right word to fear, but you know, there's a dread there because there's something internal that's like a scar on your body, that all that hard work is just, it brings up almost bad feelings about training, and there's a disconnect. There's not a good, I don't know what the word is, association with the training. You become a bad association. Stuff you, Grania. Just seen what you said there. I'm not 45. You're 45. So you've got to be honest with yourself. Are you overweight? Are you fat? Be honest. Yes or no. Now, don't look, if you can grab. I can grab handfuls of my stomach right now. I'm about 2 stone overweight. I am fat. that's something I have to accept and something I have to own. But the minute you own that, the minute you accept that, it puts you in a different mindset. Because if you're blaming the work, if you're blaming fucking every single thing apart from you, well, then you are a victim. You are not capable of changing that, because things happen to victims and things happen to owners or for owners. When you're a victim, you're not in control. It's just your circumstance is going to control what happens to you. You know, it's going to dictate what happens to you. When you own it, when you actually look at yourself and go, no, the reason I am fat is because I am eating too much food for the amount of energy I'm expending. I am not finding time to go to the gym. You'll find time to go get that round of golf in. You will find time to fucking go out and do something you enjoy. But because of the association with training, because training is exposing your weaknesses, and because you're a business owner and you're successful, they're more likely going to mean you are egotistical. You think you're the daddy Mac, because in your work, in that sort of environment you're in, you are the Mac daddy. You are the boss and everyone listens to you. And then you have to come to a place where someone's going to tell you what to do. Someone's going to say, if you get someone like me, someone's going to expose the lies you've been telling yourself. And those lies you've been telling yourself have been probably happening for 10, 15 years. So they become truths in your mind. So it's not actually that you're lying to yourself. When you tell yourself, I'll do it next week, you probably are genuinely believing you're going to do it next week. And when you tell yourself, I'll start eating healthy foods, you probably genuinely believe in that moment that you're going to eat healthy foods. But then the habits kick in. And once the habits kick in, you're going to go back to what you've always done. And it's that conscious decision. It's that you've got to have that clarity in your mind. And I hate that word clarity, but you've got to have that clarity in your mind of what you're going to do and then act upon that. And if you don't act upon it, you can't start blaming other people. You can't start blaming your circumstances. You've got to actually look to yourself and go, I'm being a dick. I am fucking this up. Because ultimately, when you do this, you put yourself in a different mindset. You can actually own your mistakes, and you can then take actions to change it. And when you take action to change it, then everything else starts snowballing. You are, as a business owner, you're selfish. You have to be selfish because you've got a business. And if you employ people, you have to be selfish because you know the outcome of not being selfish could be that they lose their job. So you're being selfish for a purpose, for a good reason. But when it comes to your own health, you're not. You need to apply the success and the drive and the hunger you had for building a business towards building your body. Because the minute you start putting the focus on becoming healthier, feeling better about yourself, looking better, think about walking into a meeting. Let's say you're walking into a meeting. Are you going to have more of a presence in a sharp suit, broad shoulders, thin waist, strong posture, standing tall? Or do you think you're going to look better if you're walking in slumped, a belly hanging out, your shirt hanging over your belt buckle, having to tuck your belt in? It doesn't look good. It doesn't command presence. And this is the problem. If you can command presence, if you can apply everything you've done in your business to your health, personal life, you're going to be more successful in your business life. And I'm trying to get guys to understand this is so hard. It requires you to embrace letting go of a lot of things. The bullshit stories you're telling yourself, the lies you continually feed your mind. You're stressed. The reason you're not losing weight, the reason you're turning the food is because you are stressed. Stress about work, stress about life, stress about the kids, stress about the wife, everything. It's stress, stress, stress. We live in a world of chronic stress, and we have to take actions to change that. And maybe the way you're training is not running congruent with what you need. The fitness industry it's a shambles. It's a lie. I hate the fucking industry now. Like for about a year, and I've been considering getting out of it because of it's just not doing what it should be doing. My goal is to make your life better through empowering you to change through the medium of exercise, so we say, and understanding better nutrition. But what we're doing is it's morphed into this, I don't know what the fuck it is. It's just like, it's this marketing monster that's just telling everyone mixed messages. And we're looking at Instagram, looking at Facebook, and we're seeing these young ripped bodies doing crazy exercises, and we're starting to think that's what we need to do. We want to look like that. I want to have to do this. And the HIIT type training, the pushing to failure continuously, for the average dude, it is not healthy. It is actually detrimental to the results they're trying to get. So, quick rant there. It's been playing in my mind. I've just had a conversation with someone. That's why I came up. But if you own a business and you're successful in business, but you're overweight, you need to ask yourself why that is, and what you can do to change it. Listen, if you need a hand, give me a shout. I can tell you how to do these things. I've had lots of success working with people like that in this sort of age group. You need to make a change. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to have a payable conversation like you have in business when you have to talk about things. You have to have that with yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself, brutally honest, and then implement actions to change that. See you tomorrow.